Hello dear listeners, DW here. This one's a bit of an odd duck. This was actually recorded at the end of 2025 and I wasn't intending on releasing it straight away. It was just going to show up when it showed up, and now is the time. Nate and I discuss our top 10 favourite films at the time. Reasonable chance that list has changed since then, but nevertheless it gives us a great opportunity to indulge in talking about some of our favourite films of all time. Enjoy, and spoilers ahead.
Hello, Nate. Welcome back once again.
Once again, you can't get rid of me.
That's right. Yes, regular recurring guest. We'll have some kind of acronym or title for you.
Yeah, regular pest, regular nuisance, loitering by the doorway like a stray cat.
Yeah. All right, come on in.
I guess.
I'll get the microphone ready.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, Nate? We're not doing quite the conventional thing. What's going on?
We're talking about our personal top 10 movies, and I mean comparing them, discussing them, discussing the methodology. How do you arrive at a top 10? I think we haven't discussed that previous to this. We didn't have the same method. We're just like, it'd be interesting to compare because we've mentioned it to each other through these discussions you and I have had. We've mentioned like, oh, that'd be in my top 10. Two movies in particular I know we have in common in our top 3 movies.
Yes.
But we haven't compared top 10s, and we haven't compared how we arrive at a top 10. It took a bit of thought, and I'm interested in hearing yours and talking about mine.
I really, well, first of all, I found the process really interesting. I'm going, how do I actually do this?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, to be honest, it surprised me. If you said, quick, what's your top 10? And I put something down, I don't think it would be there would have been a few that are what I actually arrived at, but there's quite a few where I've gone, no, hang on, no, that should be in there because that actually really means something to me or whatever.
Yeah, I get that. Similar to that. There's a bunch of movies that my dad rented for my brother, my sister, and myself. We all had chickenpox at the same time as little kids. I think I would have been in grade 3, so 8 years old.
Right.
And it was like, that was a formative, it was like Video Easy, 10 weeklies for $10. And that was a formative experience as a young guy because Dad got Back to the Future and Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Wow.
And like, so watching all of these movies for the first time over the span of a week where I wasn't at school, it was like, those movies are, they mean a lot to me. I learned a lot about cool cinema at that point. Like it was, probably watching non-animated movies for, the first time maybe. Or not kids' movies. I think I'd seen Mighty Ducks before that and all that sort of like.
I see what you mean. So this was you sort of taking a leap forward, shall we say?
Yeah, I'm not watching children's movies. I'm watching blockbusters. And like those movies mean a lot to me. That experience means a lot to me. I don't think I included any of them because they're also like they're basic picks. Like I think most people like those movies. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't want that to be my top 10 is just like 5 movies everyone else loves.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like that band, everyone likes that one song from that one
it's
band.
Like if your favorite band is the Beatles, it's like, yeah, cool, man. But like
wow, that'll be a really interesting homogenous conversation.
Yeah, that's it. But having said that, I've mentioned to you already, this activity made me feel very self-conscious. My list is a bit bro heavy. There's there's a few movies here that I consciously feel are like bro intellectual canon. They're like the movies that kids or uni students, college students would have posters of in their dorm rooms or frat rooms.
You mean now or at the time they came out?
Probably not now. Probably it's all Marvel now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, at a time they would have.
Because when you say that, there's a couple of movies that jump to mind, but I'm not really sure how much fits into that. So I'm really interested to hear your list here. So, but you picked up on a theme, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I can't help that I'm a male who grew up in the formative in the 90s and 2000s. That's when I was like learning about culture and the
Yep.
movies that hit me then, and I was part of
Imprinted.
yeah, I was part of the culture while they were part of the zeitgeist, and that matters a lot. And so, but I can't help that.
That's right. And ultimately, it's obviously very subjective because, so first of all, there's no Citizen Kane, Casablanca. I didn't do any of that stuff. I highly respect those
Yeah,
movies, and I look forward to watching them again.
yeah,
They're not on my list. Uh, what's one thing I found interesting? There's definitely a few horror films in mine. Big surprise.
yeah,
There are films that I watch every year that are
yes,
in this list, but there's also films that I rewatch every year that are not on this list.
yeah,
And then there's films on this list that I say clearly this is top 10, but then I go, I haven't watched that in about 5 years. So it was just kind of interesting that I go, there's something about that film that's definitely in my list. I respect it and love it,
yeah.
but I'm obviously not in the right frame of mind to watch it
I can
regularly.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Some things like you enjoy it because it's comforting, or you enjoy it because there's like familiarity or whatever. But it's not necessarily. It doesn't hit you as deeply or on as critically engaging. Maybe. I also like. I didn't make myself do this, but I've avoided recent movies. And I think there's probably movies that have come out in the last 10 years, 15 years that I enjoy more and think are better movies than movies that I've got on my list. Like, um, the Green Knight I loved, came out a few years ago. I think that movie's phenomenal. Everything Everywhere All at Once, I thought was an incredible movie. And I love rewatching that. That it's such a funny, fun movie.
Unique, pretty unique.
But I don't, time is a good filter. And I want those movies, like I have them at home and I rewatch them often.
Mm.
I'd like them to stand the test of time.
I think that's critical. So I do have some new-ish films, but nothing ultra new. So we've talked at length about something like Sinners. Even as much as I love it, I can't see that ever entering my top 10, but it's always going to be a highly regarded film for me. But who knows? Time will tell.
Yeah.
So having a little bit, bit of distance from them.
Yeah.
And if something is still having an impact on me after many watches, after quite a long time, it deserves at least a thought, if not.
Yeah. So I think one that comes to mind is Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
I think that movie is incredibly rewatchable because of the great pace it maintains. It starts at like top speed and it doesn't really let up. Yeah, it catches its breath for a few times. I don't want to put that in my top 10 because it hasn't had enough time hasn't passed yet.
Yeah.
There's I think movies like that, they lend themselves very well to being rewatched, whereas something like Oppenheimer, it will probably be a 10 years time before I want to rewatch that because it's such an enormous time commitment.
It's a sort of film that really draws me in, and I feel like it takes energy to engage with.
Yeah.
It's not you don't casually view. Well, probably for a lot of Christopher Nolan films, you don't casually view his films so much that he asks something of the audience, and I don't always want to do that.
No, I think he was at his best. This is a sidetrack.
Yeah, we mentioned that last time. Actually.
I was close to putting The Prestige in my top. I love that movie.
Okay.
But
didn't make the cut.
No, because there were 10 other movies to make the cut.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, I suppose we should jump in. Would you like to start?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start. My number 10. Do we go start at the bottom and work our way up?
Yeah, start at the bottom, even though we're probably going to be repeating each other, doubling up when we get to the top end, but that's all right.
Maybe the order of the top couple might be interesting.
Yes.
Okay, my number 10 is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, bro movie.
I mean, the
just
quintessential
boys
bro
being
movie.
boys hanging out with boys on a bus.
That's all that movie is.
Oh, yeah. That movie, I was quite young when I saw it. And there's a lot in that movie I didn't understand. Like I would say I was probably 10 years old, 10 or 11 when I saw it for the first time, and I just thought it was Australian comedy. Didn't understand the political aspect of it. There's the part of where the bus gets vandalized. did not understand what was written on the side of the bus or why it was written there. My mum had to explain it to me. I just loved the characters. They were the three main cast members: Guy Pearce, Hugo Weaving, and Terence Stamp. Phenomenal in that role.
Perfect casting.
Perfect cast. For lack of a better term, played straight. Like it was these. They weren't. They were fully they were human, fully sympathetic and fleshed out characters. Like Guy Pearce gets his jaw broken at one point because he's carrying on in a mining town,
Right.
and that's just his character. It's not he's not doing it. It's not a commentary on gay people. It's not a commentary on the drag community. That's just that character would do that. And Guy Pearce is incredibly fun to watch doing that. But there's a lot in that movie as well. Like Hugo Weaving has a child that he's going to visit.
Gee, I'd even forgotten that. It's been a while since I've seen it, I must admit.
Yeah.
And not for avoidance, it just hasn't come up. But yeah, I certainly like the film. But
I think it does a lot, and it occupies an interesting spot in Australian cinematic history in that, like, when people talk about the Australian movies of the 90s, they're talking about The Castle and Muriel's Wedding, which those movies are very, very good. I think Priscilla was more important. And I think Priscilla, to me, more important. I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, but I think from a very young age, that movie taught me a lot. It got me to identify with people who were, part of different groups to myself, but see that they were, had their own stories. They were their own individual people and pursuing different things, capable of cruelty and comedy. And that movie's incredible for that, I think. It's also just beautifully well shot movie. Captures like the vibrant orange of the Australian outback.
The shooting is highly regarded.
Yeah,
and it did well overseas, strangely.
Yeah,
you wouldn't, and I'm sure they didn't guess either. Oh, I guess we'll release it overseas and see what happens. But there's a lot of Americans that actually watch things other than American cinema generally know that. And for example, the first Mad Max.
Yeah.
And how did that stuff get to you?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like. Yeah, that's it. It's just it is a pretty unique movie.
Yeah.
I know there have been other movies that seem to be swimming in those waters as well. Like there's that Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar movie that had Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo, I think, and maybe it was Patrick Swayze. I'm not sure, but they were in drag traveling around. It was an American movie. So there have been movies that have guys in drag on a quest. But I think Priscilla is the one that gets it right. More so than Tootsie, more so than Mrs. Doubtfire. I think that is kind of a good, sensitive way of doing that.
Yeah, and those films I think were trying to do something slightly different as well.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so anyway, that's my number 10.
All right.
Yeah, for personal reasons, I guess, but I still love that movie.
Well, hey, this is all personal. This is all subjective. There's nothing definitive in what we're saying, and the overall overarching caveat, of course, is that we will change this 10.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At some point.
You could ask me tomorrow, and these movies, they might be the same 10. They might be in a different order.
Yeah, true. And ones that get bumped would be hanging around in the top 20 anyway.
Yeah,
so you're not going to fall out of love with these films, I'm sure. Now, my number 10, the most obscure.
Yeah, right.
This is actually a fan film.
What? Okay.
It's still a film, so still counts.
It's Matrix Resurrections.
So it's freely available on YouTube because being a fan film, they don't own the rights or anything.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, it's successful. It's had several million views, but still, that's pretty obscure relative to mainstream cinema.
Yeah.
It's called Joker Rising. guessing you've never heard of it.
No.
Yeah.
Tell me more about it, please.
Okay, so it was released shortly after the Dark Knight, so it's very much Heath Ledger's Joker,
Yeah.
and it's basically an origin story. So you have
of that version
of
the
that
Joker?
version, yeah. So it ends with the last 10 minutes is him putting on the purple jacket with those scars, with that makeup and all the rest
Yeah,
of it.
okay.
But it's not really that. It is actually feature length. I want to say 80 minutes worth, thereabouts.
Yeah.
And for well over an hour, it's just what is this character and what's the world he lives in.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's very low budget.
Yes.
But when I clicked on it, you see on YouTube and it's like Batman versus Predator and all these things
Yeah.
that are, for what they are, very well put together, but they're these cheap little 10, 20-minute distractions.
Yeah.
And they're fun, and I'm sure they had a good time. But it's filmmakers showing what they can do.
Yeah, it's
something familiar.
like
and
what do they call it, like a sizzle reel kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a demonstration of talent.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But this was in that category, and I clicked on it. Okay, and within 5 minutes, I said, "Oh no, this is something else. This is." It drew me in. It was really powerful from the first 5 minutes. It's a fan film when you click on it. You can tell it's cheap. But when I looked it up on IMDb, it's actually there on IMDb. It's got a good amount of information behind them because the director Alex Gearhart, he's made quite a few films, and when I looked at it, the budget was something like $8,000, and I was gobsmacked.
That's
Looking at it, going, it looks like, and if you've had any experience in micro budget filmmaking, you got some sense of what things are worth. And I'm looking at this going, if it had said 50,000, I would have gone, yep. If you said 100, maybe 8,000. I couldn't believe that
you can't run the lights on a thing for 8,000.
Yeah, I don't understand how it worked. Obviously, people are doing mates rates. It was all the actors are friends. They still got paid some, but basically it was everybody got fed, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So you noticed in a couple of moments where some of the secondary, even tertiary actors are maybe not the sharpest, not the best.
Yeah.
But the main cast are on point. And one scene you say, they're using audio for the camera.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's spot on from a technical standpoint. Yes, you're conscious of you're watching a fan film. But so Dylan Hobbs is the actor that plays Cyrus, who becomes the Joker.
Okay.
And you see him joining Cobblepot, who we would know as the Penguin.
Yeah.
And he's offside of Croc, who's just
a pre-mutation Killer Croc.
It's not trying to live within that space, so he wears crocodile shoes, and he's just another gangster. So
Nolan did that a bit, didn't he? Where it's just like
they're keeping it more grounded.
Yeah,
and I won't break it all down, and I certainly won't spoil because I highly recommend this if you don't mind that it's a fan film and all the rest of it. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
To put it this way, I watched this film every year since it's come out.
Okay.
Well, since I discovered it, I should say, because it must have been, because Dark Knight was what, 2008 or something?
2008 for sure.
Okay,
yeah.
So it probably came out around 09 or 10 thereabouts.
Right.
So it's been around for a while, and so I discovered it. I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago, and I've watched it every year, and the impact it hasn't diminished, and that's rare.
Yeah.
So I won't spoil, but towards the end, there's a really powerful scene where he becomes the Joker. And it is so powerful that every time I watch it, it still hits me like a sledgehammer.
Okay.
And there's very few films.
I don't think I get that from any of the Nolan Batman movies, that emotional like connection with character. And like they're cool movies, two of them are. But that's interesting to me. That makes me very curious that any of the characters can elicit that kind of emotional connection.
And especially because Dylan, he plays Cyrus as this sociopath, so he's just nothing.
Yeah.
He gives nothing. But there's a difference between nothing and not acting.
Yeah.
So he's acting like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Which sounds weird, but for example, Kane Hodder, who played Jason Voorhees in 3 of the Friday the 13th films, he talked about the idea that you just stand there and be menacing from a distance. And he said, people say, anyone can do that. He said, no, you can't.
Yeah.
He's not trying to big note himself, but he's saying there is something going on here.
Yeah.
Standing there with a mask on looking menacing is not just standing there.
No, you've got to be very in control of your body language and
And
positioning and all that. Yeah.
So there is definitely something going on. And when he finally snaps, it is so powerful.
Okay.
Probably because he's been restrained for an hour.
Yeah.
And when this happens, this horrible thing happens, which you don't want to happen. You answer that. How did you want to know how I got these scars? As Heath Ledger asked the question, well, here you see him get the scars, and it's so powerful that I thought that I was basically watching it. And what I mean by that is when I rewatched it, I realized, oh no, actually the camera pans up and you don't actually see it. But the sound design, there's like you hear gurgling of blood and stuff like this. But I thought I could see it.
Okay.
Right? That's the impact I was having. I realized, no, it's actually cleverly shot. So you're not actually seeing him get cut.
Yeah, which is maybe more evocative.
Well, evidently for me it was. But why? Why, it's like, why are you laughing? And that's him finally snapping. Because this horrible thing happened. Why are you suddenly laughing? So I'll leave it at that because
I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it'll work for everybody. And just as a side note, they did some crowdfunding and they did make a sequel which included Two-Face and Batman. It's actually brought Batman into it.
Okay.
I would say the sequel is good, but didn't have the impact for me. So it's also on YouTube, just as a side note. I want to say Chris Moss, I think was his name, who played Two-Face, potentially even overshadows Dylan Hobbs as the Joker.
Okay.
So that sequel's worth checking out to see him play a fantastic Two-Face.
Yeah, right.
Really, he steals the show. Absolutely shockingly good. So call it a hearty recommendation, and my other 9 are less obscure, I promise.
Yeah, right. No, that makes me very interested. I remember after seeing The Dark Knight, I'd been an enormous fan of the animated series of Batman, like the
the early 90s.
Yeah, Batman, the animated series.
Yeah. Highly regarded show.
Incredible show. And I was very familiar with Batman's Rogues Gallery. And after The Dark Knight, I was so excited for wherever Batman was going to go next. I thought, for sure we're going to start getting grounded versions of
all of those
Batman villains.
Yep.
And then The Dark Knight Rises it's not that. That movie is...
Well, it's doing something else, but more importantly, Warner Brothers said, "Let's try and be Marvel," and they crushed everything.
I don't know. There's stories about there was a story lined up that was going to include Heath Ledger's Joker returning and all that, which couldn't happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also think just The Dark Knight Rises is not a well-made movie. It squandered a lot of potential, and whatever, we leave it at that.
Yeah. I've got some positives to say about that film, but yeah, obviously the weakest of the trilogy. But
but anyway, to
conversation for another day.
Yeah, that makes me very interested to see, because I would like to see some grounded versions of Batman villains.
Yeah, so this is that in spades.
Yeah.
So Joker Rising,
cool.
Smoking Alien Productions is the name
Smoking
of the
Alien Productions.
Yeah, and their
cool.
logo is a smoking alien.
Take me to your dealer. Tell her.
That's right.
Right.
Something like that. But yeah, so Joker. If you Google Joker Rising, you'll see that there is a chronological cut because the sequel has a prologue that shows him in his childhood. So there is a chronological cut where all of it runs together about 3.5 hours.
Okay.
But you're looking for, I'd suggest start with Joker Rising. You'll see it runs for about 80 something minutes. So
all right,
have a look.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
Number 9.
Okay. So this is what I mean when I say like broy picks. Pulp Fiction.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's my favorite Tarantino movie. Jackie Brown has a better emotional story. Inglourious Basterds is really good. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is maybe his best movie, but Pulp Fiction was the one that got me interested in Tarantino and interested in
It was really his breakthrough film. I know people speak a lot of Reservoir Dogs, but it was not a huge breakout film.
And it's a good movie, but Pulp Fiction is it's Tarantino swinging for the fences. It's got that the story told in vignettes out of sequence. You got the dialogue about the the Royale with cheese, and have you ever given a man a foot massage and all that sort of stuff? Like
Very iconic.
very iconic. It's very cool as well. I think I saw it when I was about 15 for the first time, and just like it's got a lot of swagger and cool, and
Yeah, it's a director who's very sure of himself and knows what he wants to do, and he says, "I know this is conventional,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do that." So Uma Thurman is going to draw a square, and I'm just going to actually physically put the square on the screen.
There's so much of that, just like cool moments, and then like it's hard to define the word cool, what that means.
But that movie is,
yeah,
you can point to that
the
movie.
the best definition I can think of for cool is like being able to indicate something of value without explicitly indicating it. And I think Tarantino does that. He
Well put.
indicates that he's seen a lot of movies and he's in on the joke. Like this,
Yep.
this is not serious. It's entertaining, but it's not a B movie. This is quality cinema.
Yeah, it reminds me of more something like, I don't know, some noir films or maybe some Italian cinema where it's just playing with the format. And it feels like 70s Italian, something like that. I'm not quite sure. But and that's the thing with Tarantino stuff. It's all of it's very familiar, but you can't quite place it. You can't quite pigeonhole what he does.
Have you heard the idea of like your brain is a compost heap?
No, but I get the idea.
Yeah, like all the media, everything you consume goes onto the compost heap, and you can't choose which parts come out and which parts don't. But it creates this environment where things grow.
Yes.
And yeah, that's Tarantino. He's like, some of his stuff doesn't break down entirely, and so it's obvious where it's come from.
Yep.
But he has a rich ecosystem there.
Yeah, it's arguably sometimes a bit too obvious. But I was just, as you were talking, I just went through the list of Tarantino films, and I'm going, yeah, I think Pulp Fiction might be his best. It's hard to measure because they're all doing different things. But
yeah,
if it's not his best, it's absolutely. If you were going to show somebody one Tarantino film, you show them that, and that's him.
That's why I arrived at it, because it's his most iconic.
Definitely.
Yeah, there are sequences in Django which are incredible.
Yep.
Sequences in Inglourious Basterds. Like all of his movies have great. Kill Bill, like particularly Volume 1 with the Bruce Lee yellow jumpsuit and the Crazy 88 and all that. Like he's good at delivering iconic moments.
Yep.
But I think Pulp Fiction is the most recognizable. If you play that the song, the audio cue, I think it's Mizilu or something. I don't know what it's called, and I don't know who plays it, but it's like the classic Pulp Fiction music. People will know what movie that is from. It's but it's still it's such an entertaining movie.
It is. It's funny you say that. I haven't seen it in quite a long time, but I suddenly want to.
Yeah,
because I think the reason why I went off it is because I just watched it too much at the time, too frequently.
Yeah.
So I kind of, well, not burnt out on it. I need a break from it and haven't gone back since. But I think I might have to. You got me thinking about it again.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in my collection. I'm pretty sure my brother actually bought it for me.
Yeah, right.
And there's no way I would have.
Brother.
He's a pretty good bloke.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have got rid of that DVD. So it'll be floating around.
Yeah, and I think as well, if we're talking about like, it's a good way to learn about the benefits of, what do you call that? Like the difference between story and plot, and presenting things out of chronological order for the sake of creating interest or intrigue and all that sort of stuff. And these are tools you can play with, because it's just 3 building blocks that he's shuffling around. There's 3 vignettes that he moves around.
And anyone else would have told the 3 of them completely separately, or would have done
in order. Because otherwise the audience...
Well, that's true. They might have just...
The audience are going to be confused, like, hang on a sec, I just saw John Travolta getting shot.
And he gives the audience credit.
Yeah.
And you notice things too when you rewatch it, like the fact that in the very, very opening, you actually see Travolta walking around in the background.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, first time you see it, of course you won't know who it is. I'm just... Here's a fragment from a documentary. Somebody saying... somebody reading the script, and then they rang up. So there must have been someone who's going to work on the film. I just can't remember now.
Yeah.
But they ring up and say, "What? He's dead halfway through. One of the main characters said, you can't do that. Hang on," and just kept calling back because this is mate.
Yeah.
You couldn't contain himself. He had to talk halfway through. And I thought, yeah, so I think it is one of those ones that really jumped off the page right from the beginning. So
Yeah.
there you go. All right, solid pick.
Thank you. Yeah. What's your number 9?
Number 9, Francis Ford Coppola. Any idea what the end of that sentence will be?
It's got to be Apocalypse Now, right?
Yeah,
No,
I was.
Is it Megalopolis? It is.
I really wanted to say Megalopolis just to mess with you.
Yeah.
I genuinely, unironically love Megalopolis, but no, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I thought about because you think, okay, when you think of this director, what do you think of? Obviously, Godfather.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 2, but I just couldn't separate the two. I think
Yeah.
Godfather 1 and 2 are just they're just attached. And would I prefer them over Apocalypse Now? I'm not sure, maybe.
Yeah.
But the point is, I'm trying to choose a single film, and as a single film, Apocalypse Now is, to be honest, I'd probably still pick it anyway because of the powerful anti-war theme.
Yeah.
But it's not preachy. It's not, oh, this is bad. It shows this bizarre, psychedelic,
Yeah.
out of this world experience. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I watched it as a teenager, or maybe like 19, not getting it, but still going, I think this was amazing, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
So even at that age, I was going, wow. And I know some of it was blind luck, like Marlon Brando turned up and couldn't do the big fight at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad that he
No, that's
destroyed
that monologue
himself.
he delivers is incredible.
Yeah,
It's perfect. It's a perfect way to end that movie. Is with this like fat, bald man just like is lost it. He's lost his connection with humanity.
Yeah, and the idea that he's given into hedonism and chaos and all the rest of it. And if he was this buff dude ready to fight, that wouldn't have worked.
Undermines the movie's point.
Thematically off well and truly. So I mean, what do you need to say about Apocalypse Now? Everything's been said. Brilliant film.
Yeah, it is. I love that movie. It's long.
Yes, it is. It's not something I want to rewatch all the time, but really, really good. The extended version's got some is probably recommended. It's got scenes like he meets up with a French family and all that, which are not in a earlier theatrical cut. The documentary on the making of it alone is fascinating. So yeah, highly recommended.
It's a very sweaty, itchy movie.
It's very 70s.
Yeah,
I love 70s cinema, and I won't say this is the best 70s movie because I don't know what on earth that statement even means. But it's one of those big iconic films, and I think taking that what made 70s cinema interesting and powerful, and then putting it into the war environment.
Yeah.
Because of course you would, if you're American, and you're working in Hollywood, and Vietnam's going on. Of course, I mean there were many films made with these ideas, but this just goes way beyond whatever. Anyway, it's off the charts.
It is a perfect match of it's the right movie for the right time.
Yeah. Funnily enough, because it was delayed significantly.
Yeah, it's a perfect accident in a lot of ways.
It really is, and to take nothing away from the film making team and Coppola in particular, but yeah, there it is. So it's one of there's a couple of things on this list that it's like, oh, you picked one of the big obvious ones. That's one of them.
Yeah.
No apologies for that though. It's a brilliant film.
Yeah. Very good. It is a brilliant film. It's I like that. I like that pick.
Cheers. Number 8.
My number 8 is Boogie Nights.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Another. I'm probably not as bro intellectual, but I love Boogie Nights so much. I don't like Mark Wahlberg at all.
Yeah.
Subsequent to this, but that movie has an incredible cast. It's got and this is maybe a common theme amongst a couple of my movies. Is I love a movie that can create a very well-defined sense of time and place.
Yeah.
And Boogie Nights is so good at that. And so like Paul Thomas Anderson as a movie maker is very good at creating cinematic worlds that you feel transported to.
And that's probably essential in a film like this, which is out of time. It's not contemporary. Because when was it made anyway?
Made in the 90s, mid-90s, early 90s. Set in the 70s into the early 80s.
Was it that? I actually thought it was made more recent than that. But yeah, point is not of its time though.
No. But yeah, incredible cast. Like Tarantino, it's almost a series of vignettes. You are just following the life and times of Dirk Diggler, male adult film actor.
Yeah.
And like, I've mentioned to my sister before, like, oh, I love Boogie Nights, and she's like, yeah, of course you do, Nathan. What is that movie about? And I'm like, it's more than that. There's more to it than that. But it is an incredible movie. There's so much going on. There's so many fun performances, great soundtrack. There's a lot going on in it. It's not a simple movie about like celebrating adult film industry. There's a lot of kind of like, the rise and fall of a young adult actor.
Is it a character study?
I guess
it's more about the times than him, or what?
He's a symbol of the times.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, it is a character study, but he's not a well-defined character. He's just a bimbo. But the characters around him, and I think that is what makes Paul Thomas Anderson so well suited to adapt novels by Thomas Pynchon, is he understands that you can have like a boring protagonist who's a fixed point, and all of the characters around him are swirling, and they're all like, they're navigated by dumb self-interest. And that makes for a very interesting story and a very interesting world to be a part of for a couple of hours.
Okay.
So yeah, Boogie Nights is that's my next one. What's yours?
I'm gonna stop halfway through and just like I did a moment ago. Stanley Kubrick. Finish that sentence for me. What do you reckon?
Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Geez, I'm more predictable than I thought.
Yeah. Okay. What else would it have been?
Well, almost anything by Stanley Kubrick.
Actually, I'm surprised it's not Shining.
Yeah, well, that's the okay. So there's probably about, if I had to have a top three of his, I suppose definitely 2001, The Shining, and my brain just melted. On the anti-war stuff, of course, Full Metal Jacket is really powerful. Dr. Strangelove is just a phenomenal satire, brilliant.
Yeah,
but as a horror person, got to be The Shining, right? But I'd have to. I think I've got that probably for second place for him.
Yeah.
But when I said no, there's got to be a Kubrick film, and I thought about it. I went, no, 2001. I mentioned in an episode a little while ago when we were talking briefly about Christopher Nolan. The reason why Interstellar connects with me is because there's something really deep seated in me, something really in my core about humanity and our insignificance in the universe.
Yeah.
The existential question around our place, and also for an individual, like an individual in an abyss, is the most powerful, evocative thing. Yeah, it's the most powerful thing that I can connect to at some kind of spiritual level. And 2001, of course, it's not so much the individual. That's Interstellar does the individual in the abyss better.
Yeah.
But as far as humans and where we are in the universe, that's 2001. That is literally what it's about.
Yeah.
So there it is. If I was to say which one would I rather watch right now, probably The Shining, because horror and watching the decay of a character is probably it. But I think there's just something really deep. It runs deeper than The Shining. So 2001, and as a side note, very recently in July 2025, I saw the sequel, 2010.
Oh, The Year We Make Contact.
Yeah.
How was that?
Really good.
Okay.
They weren't trying to do a Stanley Kubrick film, although it's very obviously linked to it.
Yeah.
Really good. So it's connecting with some of the same themes, and so because you think, why would you do this?
Yeah, that's a thankless task, is making a sequel to.
I saw a documentary that the director sort of said he contacted Stanley Kubrick, and Kubrick said, just make it your own. Make sure it's yours. So I went, okay, I'll have a watch of that. It's pretty good. But I mean, that won't end up on anybody's top 10 list, but it's good for what it is. But no, 2001, maybe that's highly subjective because of, like I said, that thing that I connect with. But undeniably, it is a well-made film.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie.
It's very old world sci-fi. It's procedural, slow sci-fi.
Yeah,
pre Star Wars sci-fi.
And I think that's the most impressive thing watching it in the year 2025 is if anyone listening to this has not seen it, if you watch it, you would not pick it as a 60s movie.
No, not at all.
There's sequences in 0G, which are just done using practical effects.
Yeah, so a lot of it is quite timeless.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It's a real feat of filmmaking.
Yeah, and it's by modern standards, it's slow.
It's very slow. It's quite ponderous, but I think that's part of the point.
That is the point.
It's meant to provoke thought.
And I understand that people would probably bounce off that. So whilst The Shining is arguably slow too, but because it's so focused on character and a relatable environment, I think if you were going back to the thing of you got to show someone a Tarantino film, maybe Pulp Fiction. If you're going to show someone a Kubrick film, I probably wouldn't choose 2001.
No, and the Overlook Hotel from The Shining as well. It's like I was saying with Boogie Nights, that time and place. You can, having watched The Shining, you have a pretty good sense of the layout of the Overlook Hotel.
Yes, and I remember when I rewatched it for the first time only about a year ago, I was shocked by how well it was shot, which sounds weird to say for a Kubrick film, but I mean it was just the opening establishing shots of them driving in.
Yeah.
I was just going, this is stunning.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah. So, and it could just be old mate goes crazy and tries to kill his family in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And it's elevated by the way it's filmed.
Yeah.
I know Stephen King. Oh, man, I don't want to get down this rabbit hole. One of my most hated movies of all time is Ready Player One. And that movie needs to get Shining's name out of its mouth, because that sequence where it's like it's a riddle, the creator who hated his creation. Sorry for anyone who's not seen Ready Player One.
I've forgotten. I've deleted that from my brain.
You're better. I'm very jealous of you if you've not seen Ready Player One. It's Fallout, not Fallout. What's the thing that idiot kids love?
Minecraft.
Fortnite. It's Fortnite the movie. It's just all media stuff thrown together into big hodgepodge.
It's everything everywhere all at once. If you took out all of the depth and meaning and interesting characters.
If you're the kind of cheeseburger eating idiot who, like, you see the Iron Giant skateboarding on a DeLorean and you're like, oh, this is the best, this is peak cinema, like, it's the movie for you.
Because it's Kubrick, because it's Spielberg, of course it's schmaltz.
Yeah.
What should have happened is you give that exact same script to, I'm not sure who off the top of my head, and you make it a satire of how ridiculous pop culture
it should
is.
be like, this is soulless. None of these things have any meaning anymore because they are just coexisting.
I remember in writing in a short story once. That's a part of my life that we don't need to get into. But there was a reference in a comedic satirical way where I made to somebody walks past and it's set in the near future, and it was like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like Disney's something. It was like it was a remake of the Avengers featuring Mickey Mouse plus this other thing and this other thing.
Yeah.
And I did it as a joke about 8 years ago, and then I watched Ready Player One. I was like, if your main job is being a satirist, it would be exhausting trying to keep ahead of how ridiculous life is.
Yeah, so, I think that's where the Marvel movies have ended up as well, where like people aren't going to see a story; they're going to see 3 Spider-Man together that's not a feat of filmmaking. That's a feat of scheduling. They were together at the same time at the same. That's so good.
Which is pretty impressive considering how busy actors are.
Anyway.
Yes, number 7.
Number 7, moving on. Okay. I'm going to play your game for a sec.
Okay.
John Carpenter.
Oh, man. The Thing?
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
They Live.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is one of my favorite rewatches.
I mean, I know what I would choose, but
what would you choose?
Okay. So, well, I love Big Trouble in Little China, Starman. They're probably the main ones, I guess.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China is my pick.
Okay, it was.
I love the Jack Burton character and the way he is so self-aggrandizing and narrating his own story while being like so incompetent.
And the fact that my favorite thing is the joke that he thinks he's the protagonist.
Yeah.
And the film's shot that way.
Yeah.
But it's not. You can sort of say if you weren't paying attention and putting it through a lens of self-righteousness, you'd say, "Oh, it's whitewashing because it's really about those Asian characters." Is like, yeah, that's the joke.
That's the joke. That's it. And
John Carpenter was very
is,
aware of that.
It is like a critique of Orientalism. Is that like you've got these two white people in this story, and they don't belong there. But the film is like the camera is stuck to them.
Yeah,
they are the least competent, the least interesting.
In the finale, he goes yeehaw and shoots the ceiling, and then the ceiling knocks him out.
Yeah,
and he misses the ending.
Yeah, he's crap at everything.
I just remember that.
It's so good. It
is a very good film.
It's incredible. And I know once you get the joke, like normally with a satire like that, once you get the joke, it diminishes its quality. That movie just gets better on rewatch.
Yeah, I agree. If you talk about films on rewatch for John Carpenter, that's up there. I do love that film. It's not... Yeah, when I was putting this list together, I did contemplate for a second about that film, I must admit.
Yeah.
So let's call that confidently in the top 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that movie is incredible. Like people in the right time at the right place. That movie means a lot to them.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie made for movie fans.
Absolutely.
You need to have like the context to, there were these like, I don't know what to call it, like Asian exploitation movies, like
post Bruce Lee, a lot of these.
Yeah, a lot of those like, and they were like this Big Trouble in Little China, I think is 86.
Yes, it sounds about right.
Like there were movies being made in the 90s, like Eddie Murphy's Golden Child and all that sort of stuff, which were about like...
These were on together at the same time. Free-to-air television, Friday, Saturday nights, they were functionally the same age as far as... Because Big Trouble in Little China just kept... Because it bombed. It bombed at the time, but it found its home video, and because back then that actually meant something. You made pockets of money back then.
Yeah.
So home video and on television. Yeah, it was a favourite growing up, although I must admit... The monster scared the living daylights out of me. It's freaked, the big hairy monster.
Yeah, it's
really
hideous.
Yeah, it really freaked
intimidating.
me out.
But it's a beautiful looking movie. Like John Carpenter, I don't think you'd ever accuse him of being like having realistic special effects. It doesn't matter. That's not what he's going for.
They're effective.
They're effective. Yeah. I don't know whether there are many directors who've been better able to control lightning and fog.
Yeah.
He's so good at that, like that 80s animated lightning. Animated electricity moving over character. He does it so well. It's perfect.
The only time I've seen it done better was by Russell Mulcahy in the second Highlander film. And it's the only good part of that film.
Yeah.
But that, that's subject for another day.
Yeah.
That's a train wreck of a movie. But when he got a chance to redo the film, so he took it from being one of the worst movies ever made to just bland bad.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't touch that at all. He was given a budget, he got it redone. He said, no, that was perfect.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's probably the only time I've seen it done better. But imagine if John Carpenter wasn't good at doing fog, having just done the fog. That would have been embarrassing.
He's so good. Those...
Mood. He's good about mood. Yeah, when he does horror, of course, Big Trouble in Little China has a sprinkling of horror, but it's an action comedy.
It's a comedy. It's
fantasy action comedy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, if Harrison Ford would take less money, it's very like Indiana Jones could be that character. Like it's but it's perfect the way it is.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
I rewatched it only probably within the last 12 months, and solid pick.
Thank you very much.
That's fantastic. I like that. You could have an opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah.
My number 7, I swapped this out because this is an old black and white horror film.
Okay.
And so knowing me, what do you think? What jumps to your mind? What's the first film or two jump to your mind when I said that?
Is it Universal?
Yes.
Frankenstein.
My first choice was Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't is the same reason I didn't have The Godfather, because Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein...
Yeah, you can't... they're stuck together.
They're both an adaptation, even though they're made 5 years apart. I won't repeat that too much, because I did that with the episode with Sam. Way back in Series 1. But I went, no, as a single film, what's my favourite? Oh, obviously, 1941's The Wolfman, starring Lon Chaney Jr. I rewatched it just recently because it's my pick for 1941 for my
Yeah.
One Flick at a Time, and I keep going, oh, I don't know, because some of these movies I love, and then I rewatch them and go, yeah, a little bit hokey, right? And because it's my favorite, I'm worried that it won't hold up.
Yeah, I've had that recently, like watching The Sandlot. I loved that movie as a kid, and I was like, oh, but it
Oh,
doesn't hold up.
oh no, I that came up in conversation recently just by coincidence. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good to know. I better avoid that one.
I just falls into like the climax is still great. Like
Okay.
a kid running away from a big dog,
Yeah.
and like the chase music, that's incredible. But it's an hour to get there.
Okay,
and,
fair enough.
Anyway,
Tell
tell me more about the Wolfman.
Okay, sure. The Wolfman, at time of recording, I rewatched it probably only a month ago, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's still probably the best single of the Universal horror films, if not black and white horror supernatural films.
Yeah.
And what it does right, I know we talked at our end of year wrap up how The Wolfman 2025 was one of my disappointments.
We're not happy about that one.
Yeah, and the reason is because I'm comparing it to this fantastic film. And first of all, the protagonist is sympathetic. And all he is, the plot real quick is he comes home from America to explain why it's Lon Chaney Jr. and he has an American accent.
Yeah.
And he's basically just getting back to know, and he's going to inherit his father's estate one day. So he's getting back to know his people, this small village, and he meets a woman and he just wants to be with her. And he's just a bloke, and he seems to be pretty decent.
Good on him.
Yeah. And it's a little bit, by today's standards, a little creepy the way he's pursuing the woman, but by the standards of the time, it's fine.
That's boys being boys. They were doing that back then.
Yeah, I mean, she's engaged to someone else, but he's still
That's
pursuing
not
her.
married. There's still time on that.
But hey, as far as it goes, he gives her one quick little kiss, and that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
But he's very sympathetic, and it's easily his best role. Lon Chaney Jr. was not his father. He was not the greatest actor that ever lived. But when he was in the right role, he did well, and this was his role. He called Lawrence Talbot his baby. It was the Wolfman was his baby.
Yeah.
The horror holds up better than most. I mean, yeah, these movies are 80 to 100 years old.
Yeah.
They're not super scary, but there's sequences of him grabbing somebody, and he's dressed in all the hair, and he's about to take a bite, and I'm going, man, I could see why people were freaked out by this at the time, and it's pretty tense.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I watched the sequel recently too, and a couple of these films are really good. So
That's cool.
the emotional core, this is the sort of thing where I go, if you're interested in these films, this is one to recommend. This is one that anyone, if you don't like this, you're not going to like any of them.
Okay.
So
it's a good entry point.
Absolutely. It's straightforward. It's basically a tragic love story.
Yep.
And like most of them, they go for 70 minutes and you're out.
Yeah.
And it's really well structured. The acting generally is top notch, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
You get as Bela Lugosi, Dracula himself, doing a bit part. He's the one that turns in that bites Lawrence Talbot, who then becomes so he's not in it very long.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to have one of these A-grade actors in there just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
I haven't seen it. So
the only qualification being, of course, that it's from that era. But if you don't mind black and white films, highly recommend it. So
yeah.
And I got once I pushed Frankenstein away for the reasons I just explained, it was actually a clear winning. You see the 100-meter dash where there's one runner at the front. There he is, because Bride got disqualified for some reason. So there's the runaway at the front.
Yeah.
Solid entry.
Almost Steve Bradbury's way to the gold.
Something like that.
But yeah, no, that's I'm very curious about that. That sounds good. You don't need special effects to tell a good story.
No, and of course the transformation is iconic, and you can tell by today's standards it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, is it just like double exposure? Is that how it's done?
Basically, so yeah, they just said sit still for 3 hours while we attach this to your face, and it just sort of fades in and fades out.
Yeah.
And then a couple of times you'll see just his legs changing and stuff like that. And it's effective. It's a little hokey. That's the only weakness. But you get the point.
Yeah, it's, at some point you just got to suspension of disbelief, and also go with the vibe of the thing.
And you putting a movie on that's 80 years old. So
not all these movies were presented to the audience as like a documentary with heightened realism or anything like that. It was like we're telling a ghost story.
1941, heading into war. It's escapism. There's a reason why this was the second run, because 31, 32, 33, monster supernatural movies ruled the world.
Yeah.
Then they died. Bride of Frankenstein probably being the last gasp in the mid-30s. And then they came back when World War II hit. People wanted escapism. So, it was appropriate at the time. It was there at the right time. So,
very good.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm curious about that one too.
Me being me, I had to put in one old film in.
That's... No, you're allowed that indulgence. Yeah, you make it sound good. I'm curious about it.